You. I do want to bring in South Carolina Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace. Congresswoman, there's a lot on your plate today. First, I want to get your thoughts on these two bills, not just one, but two bills. In particular, this second bill, the second vote that would give 7 days of paid sick leave to the workers. A lot of progressives, as you know, are pushing for this. You've got Bernie Sanders on the Senate side saying he does. That it has to be sick leave. Josh Hawley says that the workers have to support this. I mean, there's a lot of pushback on any type of vote. What can you tell us right now?
There certainly is a lot of pushback on the second bill. Nancy Pelosi lied to Congress when she said that there would only be one bill and one vote, and then at the last minute peppered in this second bill to make and placate to the progressive socialists in the Democratic Party. There will not be support from Republicans on that second vote, but I will tell you there's going to be a lot of blame placed on President Biden, and there's plenty of blame to go around. But when you look at why this is happening, the labor unions are holding the American people and our economy hostage right before the holidays. And that's where the blame needs to be on why this is happening, why this vote is even occurring when this is a private sector contractual agreement. Congress should not be voting on this today or any day in the next several days.
Well, you know, I want to get into the sick leave issue because this is the sticking point. And just to remind our viewers here, 4 of the unions rejected the Biden brokered deal. Go back in history here for a second. And so, Maria made a comment this morning, but I have to bring it up again. Maria Bartiromo, she said, I thought this was Amtrak Joe. I thought this was Union Joe. I mean, it looks like the president really has failed completely in helping a class of workers, a class of Americans that he vowed he would always represent. Your take here?
Right. Well, Railroad Joe failed, and he lied to the American people about this deal that he said was done. Turns out it's not done. And I understand the need for sick leave and that being important, but we're also talking about a 24% pay hike that's retroactive. I can't imagine any other industry that gets that kind of pay hike where the average wage is going to be about $160,000. That is an enormous expense on the backs of hardworking Americans that are going to have to prop this up. And they're going to prop it up by higher prices in everything that travels by rail, including food and agriculture, as your reporters just mentioned. And so it's going to be an enormous expense no matter what happens on the American people. Again, being held hostage by these labor unions who put this forth and who also have failed the American people.
Let's talk a little bit about, I want to dig into this because I was reading into the Association of American Railroads about the sick leave, like where we're stuck here, okay? Because I think this is going to come up among you and your colleagues. And I think that, like I said, the progressives want 7 days of paid sick leave. That is that second bill. We'll see the fate of that on the floor today. But they do get paid sick leave, okay? And they get additional paid sick days as well. And they can use that sick leave as days off with notice. I mean, it seems to me that the semantics are being lost here in the fact that rail workers are getting a 24% pay raise, retroactive. They do get $5,000 bonuses, and they do have paid sick leave. It's not like they're being left without that at all. But again, I go back to the fact that you and your colleagues have to kind of debate this. Do you get a sense of how this vote's going to go?
Well, and you're right. They have great salaries. They have great benefits. The need to negotiate an even better deal should be done not via Congress, not via this vote. By and large, I think Republicans may or may not vote in favor of the first bill. That was a debate that we had in conference this morning. But the second bill, by and large, they're not going to get Republican support. That is everything in the kitchen sink that Nancy Pelosi put together in a bill to satisfy the socialist Democrats in her party. And we were told and promised that there would be one vote, one bill as is, and that is not the case. So Nancy Pelosi lied to Congress in part of negotiating this vote and negotiating the components to the bill. And that's where you're going to see Republicans, by and large, the vast majority of us, if not all of us, will push back on that second vote, is a sense that I'm seeing up here on the Hill today.
Okay. Well, we're going to obviously be, all eyes are going to be on you. I do want to move on real quick here to something else that's been bantered about today. And that's this issue of Chevron. We're not learning from Chevron that they're going to get that first oil shipment. They're going to send it from Venezuela here to the U.S. by the end of the year, this year. Why is the Biden administration, first off, why do you think they're working with Venezuela, a socialist regime? Why won't they fix energy issues here at home? And then also I want to ask you about, we're also getting reports and now seeing new reports that not just Venezuela, but Iran, they're sending out illegal shipments, despite U.S. sanctions, illegal shipments of crude around the world. And guess where some of it's going, Nancy? China.
Without consequence, right? Joe Biden and his administration are traveling around the world looking for oil and gas everywhere but here at home. Under the previous administration, we were net exporters of oil and gas. And under the Biden administration, we become net importers. We have so much natural gas here at home. And even if you just look at, for example, the state of New York, enough natural gas to power all of Europe for the next 150 years. There's no reason until we've transitioned to a green energy efficient electric economy that in the years until then, until we can transition to that we can't use our natural resources here at home and be less dependent on folks who are not with us, on socialist regimes around the world. And we have our resources here at home. We should be using our resources to beef up our economy, to be more energy independent. Not only does that help us here at home, but it helps our economy. It reduces the impact of inflation on our economy. I just don't understand the strategy of the administration at this juncture on this issue and what they're doing around the world.
Yeah, well, they'd rather go to OPEC Plus and beg the Saudis and if you think about it, even the Russians in some sense about to get oil. And I know we're not getting, Russian oil, but at the same time, OPEC Plus does include Russia. And there needs to be a real, I think, serious conversation about energy production in this country. Congresswoman, it's great to see you. We'll see what happens to the first of the year when the Republicans take control of the House. I know you need to go vote. Thank you so much, ma'am. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.